That's for me?
Yeah.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine
Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha
Shiva Jayo Jayo Gaura Chande Harati Kashobha
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 Janavita Javani Jagamanalobha
Janavita Javane Jagamanalobha
Janavita Javani Jagamanalobha
बने जग मनोबा
शिव दक्षिणे निताय च वामे गदधारा
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 निकटे अद्वैता वासचक्रधारा
निकटे अद्वैता श्रीनि वासचक्रधारा
निकटे अद्वैता वासचक्रधारा
निकटे अद्वैता श्रीनि वासचक्रधारा
शिव बसी अच्छे गौरच रत्ना सिंहसारे
शिव बसियाचे गोराचान रत्ना सिंहासने
शिव बसी अच्छे गौरच रत्ना सिंहसारे
शिव बसियाचे गोराचान रत्ना सिंहासने
आरती करे ना ब्रह्मा आदिदेव गाने
आरती कोरे ना ब्रह्मा आदिदेव गाने
आरती करे ना ब्रह्मा आदिदेव गाने
आरती कोरे ना ब्रह्मा आदिदेव गाने
शिवधरा हरि आदि कोरी क्षमारा दुलाया
हरि आदि कोरी समार डुलाया
शिवधरा हरि आदि कोरी क्षमारा दुलाया
शिवधरा हरि आदि कोरी चामर डुलाया
संजया मुकुंदा वासु घोषालिकाया
संजया मुकुंद बासु गोत्र अधिगाया
संजया मुकुंदा वासु घोषालिकाया
संजया मुकुंद बासु गोत्र अधिगाया
शिव शंकर भजे घंट भजे भजे करताला
शिव शंकर भजे घंटा भजे भजे करताला
शिव शंकर भजे घंट भजे भजे करताला
शिव शंकर भजे घंटा भजे भजे करताला
माधुर Paramarasala
Adora Mridanga Bhaje Paramarasala
Madhura Mridanga Bhaje Paramarasala
Adora Mridanga Bhaje Paramarasala
Gaurage Aradhiko Shobha Jagadhan Manaloka
Gaurange Raratika Shobha Jagajanamana
Gaurage Aradhiko Shobha Jagadhan Manaloka
Gaurange Raratika Shobha Jagajanamana
Gaurage Aradhiko Shobha Jagadhan Manaloka
Gaurange Raratika Shobha Jagajanamana
Jagadhan Manaloka Shanta bhaje, ghanta bhaje, madhur 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 bhaje. Shanta bhaje, ghanta bhaje, madhur 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 bhaje. Madhur 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 bhaje. Madhur 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 bhaje. Nitya Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur Hari Bol. Nitya Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitya Gaur Hari Bol. Shiva Bahu Koti Chandrajini Padana Uchwala Shiva Bahu Koti Chandrajini Padana Uchwala Gala Deshe Vada Mala Kore Jalamala Gala Deshe Vada Mala Kore Jalamala Shiva Shiva Sujana Radha Preme Gadaga
Shiva Shiva Sukana Radha Megadada
Shiva Shiva Sujana Radha Preme Gadaga
Shiva Shiva Sukana
Gaurarasapada
Apati vinoda dekhe Romapada.
Jaya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram
Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
Jai Radha Madha Hari Radha Madha Hari Radha
Jaya Radha Madhuri Radha Madhuri Radhe
Jai Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radha
Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe
Jai Srinaji Gopal Srinaji Gopal Srinaji Gopal Jai Srinaji Gopal
Jaya Srinaji Gopal Srinaji Gopal Srinaji Gopal Jaya Srinaji Gopal
Jai Gauranitai 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 Jai Gauranitai
Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai
Jai Nandana Nandana Baladeva Jai Subhadra
Jaya Jagannatha Jagannatha Baladeva Jaya Subhadra
Jai Sita Ram Lakshmana Hanuman Sita Ram Lakshmana Hanuman
Jaya Sita Ram Lakshmana Bhakta Hanuman Sita Ram Lakshmana Bhakta Hanuman
Jai Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada Jai Jai Prabhupada
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada
Jai Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada Jai Jai Prabhupada
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada
Jai Jai Gurudev
Gurudev
Gurudev Jai Jai Gurudev
Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev
नमो विष्णुपाद परमात्माचार्य अष्टोक्षत भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय, मथुरा धाम की जय, मायापुर धाम की जय, गंगा माई की जय, यमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, सीता लक्ष्मण भक्त हनुमान की जय, श्री राधा माधव हरि की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंद all glories to assembly members, all glories to assembly members, all glories to assembly members.
Narasimha Parato Narasimha Yato Yato Yamitato Narasimha Yato Yato Yamitato Narasimha Gahe Narasimha Re Gahe Narasimha Gahe Narasimha Re Gahe Narasimha Narasimhavadim Sharanam Prapade Tavakara Kamalavare Naka Advita Shringa Dalita Hiranya Kashipu Chanu Bringa Kekagarita Yaranhani Rupa Jai Jagarisa Hare Jai Jagarisa Hare Jai Jagarisa Hare Avakara Kamalavare Naka Adbhuta Shringa Sarita Hiranyakashipu Dhanubringa Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Narasimhadev, 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 Jaya Narasimhadev. Jaya Pralamalat, 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 Jaya Pralamalat. Jaya Pralamalat, 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 Jaya Pralamalat. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
भगवान की जय महाराज की जय गौर प्रेमानंद
Hare Krishna everyone. Welcome to Shri Radha Madhav Hari Dham. On behalf of our presiding deities, Shri Radha Madhav Hari, we are happy that you are here for the Sunday Feast program. We have a special guest speaker today. Maharaj has been with us for 5 or 6 days now. We have His Holiness Romapada Swami, who has been here for a few days, and we've had Ram Katha. Maharaj was here for the celebration of Ram Navami last Tuesday. Maharaj is a disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj has been sharing Bhakti Yoga with a wide range of audiences. He has been a guest speaker at many corporations such as Microsoft, Intel, ISKCON, and others. He remains dedicated to college outreach and education. He has inspired many Bhakti Yoga clubs and Krishna lunch at universities like MIT, Penn State, Northwestern, and others. He conducts spiritual retreats and seminars throughout the year and leads an annual pilgrimage to various sacred places in India. This year, he's going to be taking devotees to Badrinath. That's going to be sometime in September. And his main focus is to ensure that everyone has the opportunity to learn the teachings of Srila Prabhupada and to provide meaningful, practical methods by which everyone can develop relationship with the Supreme Lord. We are very happy Maharaj is here. Today is the last class and the title is going to be Surrender of Vibhishana. And we hope that Maharaj will come again very soon and lead some more, inspiring classes. This Srimad Ramayana, I feel we had very little time. We didn't cover, much, although we had so many classes. There's so much to learn in the Ramayana. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Madhava Kunjabi Adi Gopi Jana Bhalabha Girivada Adi Gopi Jana Nandana Brajajanarandana Yasodanandana Brajajanarandana Yamana Tiravana Chardi Madhava Kunjali Adi Prabhupada, Paramahamsa Parivijagacharya Astatara Satasi, Srimad His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki,
Jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki,
Jai.
Gaura Premanandi. Last but not least, Vibhishan's Sharanagati. Sharanagati is a nice word. It's a word that Bhaktivinoda Thakur used a lot. Sharanapati and Sharanagati. Sharanapati is having attained Sharana, and Sharanagati is striving for that place of shelter. So a little bit of background, first of all. Who is Vibhishana? We certainly know of him as the younger brother of Ravana, and the next brother was Kumbhakarna, and then the younger brother, youngest of the three brothers, was Vibhishana. All of them were descendants of Palasya Muni. Who's Palasya Muni? Palasya Muni is one of the direct sons of Lord Brahma. The beginning of creation, Brahma built the universe, then he has to fill it up. And he filled it up by Prajapatis, or those are offspring. Some came directly from his body, mental-born sons, just boop, there's a Prajapati. Kashyapa appeared in that way, and so forth. Palasya, here's a family tree, was one of those sons, direct son of Lord Brahma, and according to the genealogy, Palasya married a daughter of the sage Trinabindu. So Palasya Brahmana, and his wife was a Brahmani, and they had, their first son was Vishrava. Vishrava, celebrated person, very, very exalted person. And Vishrava was given in marriage the daughter of Bharadraj Muni. Some of you may know that one of Valmiki's disciples was Bharadraj Muni. Bharadraj Muni had a daughter, and she's known in by different names at different places, but Ida Vida, and the combination produced a very qualified son. There's a lot of history, which there isn't time to go through all the history, but Vaishravana was the name given to that son. And Vaishravana, austerities and elevation and purity. And Brahma descended and gave him the post of Kuvera. Manu. Manu descended and gave him, because every time there's a new Manu, there's a different cabinet. Just like when a person becomes a president, he selects people, or they're elected or whatever, to be cabinet members in his administration. So Vaishravana was given the position of the treasurer. He's a very, very qualified personality. In addition to becoming Kuvera, he was given a very special gift. He was given a Pushpaka Vimana. Vimana means an airplane. An airplane that could travel anywhere he wanted. It could become bigger, it could become smaller, and it didn't need a steering mechanism. It just, by mind, let's go here. Zoom. Nice gift. His father was very qualified. And then his son, with folded palms, asked his father, where should I reside? His father gave him a place. It was, at that time, at least, not occupied. And it was the same place that later Ravana took over because he beat up his brother, his stepbrother, Kuvera, and took his place over, Lanka. And so it happened that recognizing that Vishrava was such a qualified Brahmana, there's another line that's not shown in this chart, but we'll go back a few steps. Everything that exists comes from one source, and that one source that everything exists, from which it comes, is Krishna. Within Krishna is everything. And from time to time, Krishna makes arrangements for creation. And he does so in a very interesting way. He has Garbhodakshaya Vishnu generate a lotus flower from his navel, and Brahma appears on top of that lotus flower, and Brahma gets the seva of building a universe. He has to do a few things first. He has to become a perfected soul. But he's given instructions how to do that, and then he builds the universe. Then he's got to populate the universe. So within Krishna is everything. Within Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is the Vishnu tattva forms are involved with creation. He invests in Brahma the power to create everything. And everything includes everything. There's elevated souls and there's degraded souls. So amongst the degraded souls, there are Rakshasas. They're not nice folks. And in this line of Rakshasas, there was 3 brothers, and one of those 3 brothers was Sumali. And Sumali put 2 and 2 together and came up with 4. He said, I have an unmarried daughter. The unmarried daughter's name is Kaikashi. And if I send Kaikashi to Vishravas and he accepts her as a wife, then we'll have super Rakshasa offspring. Because he's a powerful Brahmana. But commonly, not always, commonly the children take on qualities like their mother. They certainly take on the occupation or the classification of the mother. So the mother to be is a Rakshasi lady, Kaikashi. So the father sent his daughter to the ashram of Vishravas, and her assignment was ask him to marry her and then produce children. So she did what her father said. Kaikashi went to the ashram of Vishravas. She went at not a very good time. He was in the middle of a yajna. And those that you know a little bit about these things, when you're doing a yajna, when you're chanting Gayatri, you're doing some Vedic practice, you don't stop once you start until it's complete. So she came when he was in the middle of a yajna. We're going to see a painting that shows it in just a moment. And she patiently waited, scratching the ground with her toe, and waited with folded palms. And when he finished the yajna, he turned to Kaikashi and said, I know who you are. I know your purpose in coming here. You came at an inauspicious time. So the answer is yes, but I'll let you know, the sons that were born of you will be wicked demons. And she said, no, that's not what I want. He said, you came at an inauspicious time. But because you're pleading with me in this way, the youngest of your children will be very elevated. So it shows the names here on the screen. The firstborn son had 10 heads, or 10 necks, upon which he had 10 heads. So his father gave him the name Dasagriva, means 10 necks. Later it became Ravana. It's a nice nickname. It stuck, Ravana. Then Kumbhakarna then Shurpanakha, and then the fourth born was Vibhishana. So here's a very old painting found in the British Library, and up on the top portion of the painting, there's Vishravas performing his yagya, and Kaikashi is coming at the wrong time, and he informs her what he informed her, and horrific demons will be born of you. And she said, please, no, that's not what I want. So the youngest will be virtuous. So the painting at the bottom shows the youngest one, that's in Kaikashi's lap, that's Vishravas. The one in the front with the 10 heads and the 20 arms, that's Dasagriva. And standing right behind him, he's really big, is Kumbhakarna. And behind Kumbhakarna is Shurpanakha. Now, what Kumbhakarna was known for is lots of sleep. This is a painting showing they want to wake him up. So they had elephants, camels, drums, lots of food, banging on drums, jumping on him, hitting his body with sticks and poking him and probing, and he would just sleep. He was a good sleeper. Kumbhakarna. And his body was huge. Huge. There's descriptions. And then the third brother, or the youngest, is Vibhishana. Now, Vibhishana, so this is the top, Vibhishana is the topic, but there's a context. He has brothers, and he has a father, and he has a mother, and he's particularly known for several things. One is this principle of full surrender. He surrendered everything unto the personality of Godhead Vishnu, and the local incarnation at that time was Lord Ramachandra, so he surrendered fully to Ramachandra. And this is the statement about his character. Abandoning Lanka, friends, and possessions, I place my kingdom, life, and happiness at your disposal. That's the way that he spoke to Ramachandra when they first met. Pretty direct. Now, during this time that we've been together here in Phoenix, I was sharing a little bit about some of the commentators on Ramayana, and the most celebrated, recognized, superlative commentator is Govinda Raja, a Sri Vaishnava Acharya, amongst many, but he's especially recognized amongst many. And one of the things that he wrote about Ramayana is that there are 18 cardinal lessons. We've been spending, the theme is lessons from Ramayana during this visit. So he wrote, one of the many things is there's 18 cardinal lessons. Number 6 out of the 18 is dependency on the devotees of the Supreme Lord as exemplified by Vibhishana. So as we're going through, this is specifically, the topic this evening is not everything about Vibhishana, it's specifically his surrender. And it gets a lot of attention because it's an essence of the whole of the Ramayana. You'll see as we go forward. When he took shelter of Lord Ramachandra, one of the first things that Ramachandra did was he anointed him, a formal ceremony, and he was anointed the king of Lanka, even before the battle. And then when the battle was over, he was to become the king. So there was a formal ceremony again took place in Lanka, and he, Vibhishana, went with Ramachandra when Ramachandra returned to Ayodhya. And it was time for Vibhishana, after Ramachandra's coronation, he gave him a gift. And the gift that he gave him was the deity of Ranganath. Pretty huge deity. He gave him back his Pushpaka Vimana, and the Pushpaka Vimana had the capacity to become bigger, and you know, the Ranganath deity is really big. So take with you this ancestral deity from the time of Lord Brahma, worshipped by Ikshvaku and our whole Sun dynasty or Surya dynasty. You take the deity will be yours to worship. So he accepted. And as he was traveling in the southerly direction, the deity wanted to stop. And the deity stopped at Srirangam, and the deity somehow informed Vibhishana he wanted to stay there. But I'll continue looking in the southerly direction. In this way, by my glance, I'll protect you and your kingdom in Lanka. So most deities are not facing that direction. But there's the reason why Sri Ranganath is facing in that direction. Here's the entire deity, very, very large. Here's a close-up of his face. And some of you may know a little bit about, some of you, if you're from South India, you know a lot about the Sri Vaishnava's prayers. They're called Divya Desham, 108 especially celebrated prayers from their alvars. And the first prayer is to Sri Ranganath, very important deity in Sri Vaishnavism. So we're going to hear some of the prayers from the 12 alvars. Here's Pariya Alvar. I'm just going to read. After removing the hurdles for Vibhishana, Sri Ranganath gave the kingdom to him, and lying at Sri Rangam, he is looking at the way in which Vibhishana is ably ruling Lanka. This is similar to how a mother who is nursing her infant looks at the infant's cheerful face. This is one of their foundational teachers, the Alvars. King Kulashekar. Prabhupada liked King Kulashekar's prayers and quoted them often. Lying down, looking at the southern direction with affection, Sri Ranganath looks at the southern direction, which is the dwelling place of Vibhishana. So he's well protected by Ranganath. Here's another one of the Alvars. Sri Ranganath has special affection towards Vibhishana, who was blessed by realized wisdom. When Sugriva threatened to walk out with his army monkeys should Sri Ram accept Vibhishana, Sri Ram said, "Even if I have to forgo you and your army, I will not let down Vibhishana." This is similar to a cow. In order to protect its calf that it gave birth to that day, pushes aside the calf which was older with its horns and hooves. When that Sugriva did something which could have resulted in harm to him, Sri Ram said, "Oh, Sugriva with long arms, if something shameful had befallen you, what benefit would I get through Sita or Bharata or Lakshmana or Shatrughna? Oh, warrior who kills enemies, what benefit would I get out of my own body?" Such was Ram's affection towards Sugriva, but his affection for Vibhishana was greater than that which he had towards Sugriva, and hence he is lying in Srirangam, looking in the direction of Vibhishana. Isn't it nice? So these are, as many of you know, the Alvars are fundamental, very elevated, very realized, perfected souls, giving the foundational teachings that make up Sri Vaishnavism. So he's a very important person, Vibhishana. Of course, the deity is a very important deity. So there's a relationship between the deity and Vibhishana. Now we're going back to the other brothers. Here's Dasagriva. And there's one point in time when Dasagriva did lots of austerities and he was very, very powerful. So one time he made a boo-boo. He went to challenge Lord Shiva. And what he did in challenging Lord Shiva, he picked out Mount Kailash with his arms and started lifting it. And the whole of Mount Kailash started to tremble. And Parvati looked at Lord Shiva, "What's that?" And he said, "Don't worry, it's just a fellow down at the bottom of the mountain, I'll take care of it." So he put his toe on the mountain, and the mountain then started crushing his arms, 20 arms. And the arms were being crushed so severely that the veins in his arms were bulging out, and he was roaring in pain. That's where he got the name Ravana, one with a loud roar. The austerities that he had undergone were also very severe. And his intention, first of course, was immortality, but he had a desire to rule over the three worlds. Three worlds means heaven, this region, and below. And the details about his austerities, Kumbhakarna underwent great austerities. He asked for the benediction just to sleep for a long time. So arrangement was made he could sleep for 6 months. And then they could wake him up only after 6 months. That was a problem when the battle in Lanka was taking place, because it was his sleeping time. They couldn't wake him up, they couldn't wake him up, they couldn't wake him up. He's good at sleeping. Vibhishana, he also underwent austerities, and when the benediction time was given to him, he asked to always simply be engaged in the Lord's service. Here's his austerities. He stood on one foot for 5,000 years. When that was over, for another 5,000 years, he gazed steadily at the sun, standing with his arms raised above his head and his mind fixed upon Vedic recitation. That's 10,000 years. Of course, the timetable is a little different because it's a different yuga. And when the benediction time was arranged, the benediction he wanted was very elevated. May every thought that I may have in each and every stage of my life in this world be supremely righteous or virtuous. And may I always uphold the righteous conduct appropriate at every stage. It's an emblem of virtue. Same as Ram, emblem of virtue. Maryada Purushottama. We've been hearing about that. So when he was situated with his other two brothers in Lanka, he had 4 ministers, and they're going to be important. We'll hear something further about them. They had names. His elder brother, Ravana, made a marriage arrangement for him. The marriage arrangement was Sarama, the daughter of Sailusa, a king of the Gandharvas. So he had connections even in the upper realms. So that was who his wife was, and we'll hear, not this class, but when you read Ramayana, you'll find more about her. Sarama was very good. She really helped Sita in really critical moments. She's very wise, had vision beyond the worldly, and she comforted Sita when it was most needed. The description in Ramayana is she was given the name by her mother when one rainy season Lake Manasa was flooding. So she called out, Sara Ma, do not flood. So the name stuck, Sara Ma, from the Gandharva. That the Gandharvas are situated not in the heavenly realm, not in the earthly realm, but in between the two. Bhuvar Loka, in between heaven and the earthly realm. The illustration here is meant to show the Pushpaka Vimana. This was the gift that was given by Lord Brahma to Kuvera when he appointed him as the treasurer of heaven. And when Ravana defeated his brother in battle, he stole the Pushpaka Vimana, so it became his stolen property. And using his Pushpaka Vimana, he traveled here and there with all of his power, and he did very terrible things. He raped women and kidnapped women, and he was a womanizer. And when this became known by Vibhishana, he spoke up, because he's a virtuous man. This act of yours is very sinful and unbecoming of our good family. Already, as a reaction to your wickedness, your own aunt, Kumbhinashi, has been kidnapped by the Rakshasa Madhu. Now, those of you that were with us this midday, you know who that is. And those of you that weren't with us midday, you can listen to the recording because it'll take a long time to redo all the midday class. Madhu was a demon, and Madhu kidnapped Kumbhinashi, who was a cousin of Ravana. Kumbhinashi was the unmarried granddaughter of Malyavan. Anyway, without all the genealogy. Ravana was really ticked off when she was kidnapped, so he took 4,000, I think that was the number, Akshohini divisions of soldiers to do battle with Madhu. When Kumbhinashi came out of the palace, when he arrived with his big army, she pleaded with him, "Spare my husband's life." So he agreed, just like that, on his way to have battle with the demigods. So Ravana had powers, and he, in addition to travel wherever he wanted, now all the different planetary systems, up and down, and earthly realm, he's very strong. So that's a little bit of the background of Vibhishana. And in one of the Ramayanas, it's not a main story in the Ramayana, but one of the Ramayanas describes when Hanuman went to Lanka, before he did what he did to find Sita and destroy the garden and have interference with Ravana and so forth, he paid a visit to Vibhishana's home. Now, it's not a common story, but obviously the painting is showing it. And he came. Hanuman had ability to change his shape, so he disguised himself as a Brahmana. And this was before his destroying the garden and all of that. So this is Vibhishana in the painting. And then later, when Hanuman was caught by the ropes, mystical ropes of Indrajit, he was brought before Ravana. And when all of this took place, Vibhishana reminded Ravana, when Hanuman spoke like boldly and give Sita back or you're finished, you have no idea how strong is Ram, be wise, don't destroy the Rakshasa dynasty, give Sita back, that's all you have to do. Ravana was so angry, kill him. Vibhishana spoke up and said, please remember, it's according to the codes of chivalry, you can't kill an emissary. You can punish him, but you can't kill him. He wrecked the garden, and yes, he's this and that. He spoke very strongly to you. So then it was decided, a suggestion was made, one of the most prized activities of a monkey is their tail. So wrap cloth soaked in oil, wrapped it around his tail and put the cloth on fire so he feels ouch. Don't kill him, but give him pain. after that happened, something else happened. Hanuman broke the ropes, and he went and lit the whole city of Lanka on fire. And from a rooftop, he advised them again, return Sita or you're finished. Ram will come very soon. So the devastation caused by Hanuman in the garden and the burning of the city, Ravana called the meeting of his ministers. And when he called the meeting of his ministers, he asked, the ministers, the council said, oh, you just weren't ready and it was caught by surprise and you're the strongest guy in the universe, no worries. Pumping him up. And when it came time for Vibhishana, he said, you have no idea of the power of Ramchandra. If this is a monkey, what to speak of the person who he's serving? Don't mess. Just return Sita. He spoke clearly and strongly, exactly what Ravana didn't want to hear, but it was such that it gave Ravana pause. The next day, privately, Ravana went to meet Vibhishana and have a further discussion on the topic. Vibhishana said the same thing, because his nature is he's wedded to righteousness, and he spoke more about the power and the glories of Ramachandra. Although they had never met, he's a virtuous personality, so he knew how powerful is Ramachandra. Ravana yelled at him, and the next day, there was third time, there was another assembly, and the third assembly, they went around the room and asked everybody what they should do, and bowing down before him. And Vibhishana, when it was his turn to speak, he said the same thing. That was too much for Ravana. Ravana insulted Vibhishana and said, if you weren't my brother, I'd kill you. But because you're my brother, just get out of here. He kicked him in the chest. 3 strikes and you're out, right? So he left. He tried. It's part of Vedic culture that the younger brother serves the older brother, but he's wedded to virtue and he can't go along with Ravana's program. And Ravana told him, get out. So he got out. And the way that he got out was very interesting. He had powers. He didn't have wings. He didn't have a vimana. He just rose in the air by mystic power, and his 4 ministers rose with him, and they crossed the 800 miles to the southern shore where Ramchandra was. And there's a nice painting. It shows there he is with his 4 ministers, and he is asking, the painting shows he's having this conversation with Ramchandra, but actually the conversation was with Sugriva. And that is to say, he didn't ask to take shelter directly with Ramachandra. He asked the representative of Ramachandra to request Ramachandra, will he give me shelter? I hope you can hear the drum roll and the trumpets blaring, because this is a very key moment in the whole of Valmiki Ramayana. Let me ask you, learned devotees, in Bhagavad Gita, there's how many verses?
15.
How many? 700 verses in Bhagavad Gita. Of those 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita, 1 verse is the essence verse of the whole Bhagavad Gita. Question, what's that essence verse of the whole Bhagavad Gita?
Sarva dharman parityajya
Sarva dharmam parityaja mamekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha yashami ma shucha. So it's surrender. Moksha yashami ma shuchaha. Become fearless. One can become fearless without any worries. Just one thing. What's that one thing?
surrender.
Mam ekam sharanam. There's the word sharana again. Just take shelter of me. That's it. So Sugriva didn't like that idea. Sugriva went to Ram and said, he wants to take shelter of you, but you know what? He doesn't want to take shelter of you. You know what? He knows you're strong. You're going to defeat Ravana. When you defeat Ravana, he'll become the next king of Lanka. He wants the kingdom of Lanka. That's what he wants. He doesn't want to take shelter of you. I don't trust him. Etc. So that was the delivery of the message. And then Ramchandra did what good kings do. He asked his ministers, what do you think, what do you think, what do you think? And there wasn't consensus at all. So finally, Hanuman is asked, but we'll see that what Hanuman's response is in a moment. Everyone said what they said, and then Sugriva spoke again. I don't trust him, I don't trust him. So see in the upper right, there's Vibhishana and his 4 ministers. They're still hanging out in the air there, waiting for a reply. Will he give us shelter? And then comes Hanuman. Hanuman didn't speak until asked. That's part of his nature. And so he said several things. It was a long section. Here is just little essences. Ramchandra narrated an incident from the past about a dove that gave shelter to an eagle even after the latter, the eagle, had killed the dove's wife. Ramchandra then quoted the words of Kandu, a son of the sage Kanva, who is known to have spoken on the virtue of giving shelter to anyone who subordinates himself to a person who is capable of giving shelter, and explained the demerit of not doing so. These words were spoken to appease Sugriva, who was objecting. So this is in Yuddha-kanda. The battle hasn't begun yet. And Sugriva is still going on. Well, I'm worried about your safety. And then Hanuman is called upon. And he said there's no grounds for distrusting Vibhishana. Although he's a Rakshasa, his authority rests with his taking shelter of Ramachandra. And I know the heart of Ramachandra, and I declare he's already given him shelter, so there's no need for further discussion. It's his nature. And then, because Sugriva is concerned about the safety of Ram if he gives Vibhishana shelter, suppose it's treachery and this and that, Ram said, don't worry, I have unlimited strength. The language in the Ramayana is Virya Shakti, unlimited strength, unlimited. It's not that Sugriva didn't know it because he had already seen it, but he reminded him, and then he expressed his heart. This is the very important verse that is it's like Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharmam Parijyaja. It comes in this context. It is my vow that if one only once seriously surrenders unto me, saying, my dear Lord, from this day I am yours, and prays to me for courage, I shall immediately award courage to that person, and he will always remain safe from that time on. It's called the Charama Sloka. Charama means that's it. The 24,000 verses are summed in this one verse. And acharyas speak about it, write about it, describe it extensively. It's a very important verse in connection with Vibhishana. And the essence of it is same as Bhagavad Gita 1866, taking shelter, mam ekam sharanam. Ekam, alone. And then the very next verse, he says, It is my eternal principle that if any living being takes shelter of me even once, this is another rendering. He then requests Sugriva to invite Vibhishana to come forward, because it was Sugriva who was the connection. He didn't speak to Ram, he spoke to the representative of Ram, who was very dear to Ram. So then he requested Sugriva to invite Vibhishana to come and take shelter. Now there's another very nice description, not from Valmiki Ramayana, but from other sources. One of those other sources is the Padma Purana, Uttarakhanda of Padma Purana. Many of you know the story. It's also in Mahabharata and another one of the Puranas, where just after Bharata visits in Chitrakoot and then departs with Ramchandra's Padukas and goes back to rule the kingdom for 14 years. So chronology is right at that time. They're still in Chitrakoot. Ram is resting with his head on Sita's lap. And there are different versions. One of the versions is that Indra, another version is the son of Indra, Jayanta, takes the form of a crow, and for some reason, doesn't say why, he lands on while Ram's head is on Sita's lap, he lands on Sita's shoulder and starts pecking at her breast. And there's different versions because there are different sources. One of the versions says he then comes in for a landing on a nearby tree. Ramchandra wakens and he sees there's blood on her chest. So he asks her, how did this happen? She points to the crow that's in the branch of the tree and said, he did this heinous act. So Ramchandra took a blade of straw, empowered the blade of straw with the Brahmastra power, and tossed the straw at the crow. And once a Brahmastra is invoked, it can't be retracted. And so the crow is fleeing here, fleeing there, fleeing here, fleeing there, can't get away from the Brahmastra. There's different versions. He goes to Indraloka, he seeks shelter of Indra. Indra rejects him, and he realizes, I just did such a terrible thing. He goes to Lord Brahma, according to the Padma Purana version, he goes to Lord Brahma, who says, submit yourself to him only. There's no other refuge. There's a longer version, but that's the short version. Thus addressed by Brahma, the crow, overcome by fear, same language as Vibhishana language, suddenly approached Ram and fell on the ground. Seeing the crow in peril of life, Sita politely said to the mighty Ram, protect him. Protect him. This is even after the crow attacked her. The respectable lady Sita put the head of the crow that had fallen before her on Ram's feet. This is Padma Purana. There's different versions. The virtuous Ram, the ocean of the nectar of pity and afflicted by compassion, raised him, the crow, with his hand and protected him. Ram, the treasure of compassion, said to the crow, very similar to what he said to Vibhishana, or about Vibhishana, do not be afraid. I shall grant you protection from fear. Go as you please. Because it's his nature, as Hanuman understood. It's now in another place, in an earlier place, at least within 3 different sources. Mahabharata, Padma Purana, and another place I think it's Matsya Purana. Very similar, slightly different, but very similar. So there's Vibhishana taking blessings from Ramachandra. And notice behind Vibhishana there's 4 ministers. They came in for a landing too now, they're just floating in the air. And then Vibhishana came with his 4 ministers, and there's some very nice commentary. Would you like to hear the nice commentary? I hope so, because we're going to go there. The 4, according to, there's a storyline, or there's a history of Ramchandra's pastimes. Woven within the history are principles. And the acharyas help us disclose the principles through the medium of the story so we can understand more deeply what the story is telling us. And they say that these 4 ministers represent 4 elements in Vibhishana's surrender. And I'm sure you want to hear what it is. The Sharanagata, that's the one who's taking shelter. Then there's the one who's being taken shelter unto. This akinchanatvam. Tvam means having the quality of. Akinchana. I possess nothing else as my shelter. And then it says the other way around. Since I have no shelter, you're my shelter. Checkmate. Ananya gatitvam. That's the shelter in the Sharanya. And then there's the characteristics of the Sharanya. These 4 ministers are representing these 4 characteristics. So, Saralata, that's Ram, the one who's being taken shelter of. He gives shelter to anyone without any consideration. Saralata means simplicity. That's Ram. He doesn't consider. The crow, etc., etc. Vibhishana, in the course of this discussion about accepting Vibhishana, he says, the next verse, even if Ravana came, after all of what he's done, if he took shelter, I would also forgive and accept him and make him fearless. Of course, Ravana is not about to do that. But there's no limit to the Saralata. And he has the power. This was what he was saying to Sugriva. Don't worry. Virya, Shakti. I have the power. I can do it. I can give protection to anyone, and I'm not going to be put at risk. So now I'm a little concerned about time, and maybe some of you are too, because my thought was to go through each of these 4 and drill down a little bit more, and I'm not sure I should do that because of time. This is again saying what this simplicity feature is, regardless of their background. When Vibhishana approached Ram, here's what Ram said. The seeker for refuge need not feel friendly towards the protector, nor express friendship in word or conduct. He need not be endowed with all the excellences that the doctrine of submission demand of the seeker. It is quite enough that the Sharanagata should join his palms in prayer as a gesture of surrender. Grace descends on him at once, and all sorrow falls away. Even if one does not join the palms in prayer, it is enough if one announces that one is helpless, like the crow, and needs help. Or if one utters words that sound like prayer, even if these 3 elements are absent, turning in the direction of the Savior is enough. Even if the supplicant is our direct foe, we will not harm him. That's Ram. That's, the simplicity side. It is quite enough if the surrender of self is made to me but once. Even then, it is not necessary to express it in word or by act. Submission with the mind will do. Let a man but think once, I am yours. Service to you is my sole reward. This prayer is enough. I shall then stand between him and any evil that threatens from any being. This is my pledge. Never in any circumstances to be broken. The gift of fearlessness I also give to those who come with him. That's the 4 ministers. The one who seeks refuge in me. If Ravana himself were to come to me, this is the other part, without restoring Sita and prays for my protection, I'm prepared to grant it to him. If this is not Vibhishana, but Ravana in disguise, even then I would give him shelter. Pretty thorough, comprehensive. And so these are characteristics of the principle of surrender. Here's a nice painting. There's Ram, and there's Vibhishana, and there's the ministers behind him. They're carrying the clubs over their shoulder like that. And there's Vanaras behind. So I think I'm just going to continue. It's just examples. He gave shelter to Jatayu, a bird. Guha, Nishada, hunter. A monkey, Sugriva. A bear, a squirrel. There's no discrimination. What kind of body you have, what you're. So he has the power to do all this. This is what Ramachandra said to Sugriva in more detail. Let this Rakshasa be the most wicked, or let him be virtuous. Either way, what can he do to me? Do you think that he can do any harm to me, or to anyone that has taken refuge in me, or to anyone that has taken refuge in such a devotee? I can destroy all the Rakshasas on earth, as well as all the Danavas, Yakshas, Pishachas, and all other creatures, merely with the tip of my little finger, if I so choose. I need no weapon. Even the other fingers need not help. Even the little finger, the tip is enough. What to speak of these puny Rakshasas in Lanka? The thought of slaying them has not yet entered my mind. When it does, these Rakshasas will no more be seen. And an example of what he's saying is the Janastan situation, where 14,000 Rakshasas were destroyed after so many generals were destroyed single-handedly by Ram. If you look in the painting up in the branch of the tree, there's Lakshman putting Sita in a cave and protecting her. So he alone stood there and finished them all. He has the power. He doesn't need anybody's help. He can give everyone protection, no problem. Then, again, this is the commentary of the Acharyas. Ram feels gratitude for even the smallest of service. Ram is true to his word. So whatever he says, it'll happen. Sita, I will let go of my life, you or even Lakshmana, but I'll never let go of an oath that I've given to my devotees. He's the emblem of virtue. It's like, and he has all the power to do. So there's Vibhishana taking shelter by the shore of the sea, the 4 ministers behind him that look kind of weird, and then there's Lakshman. Lakshman placing something on his forehead. Here's the coronation of Vibhishana. This is all part of his surrender. And during the coronation, he's very humble. He's just doing what Ramachandra wants. It's not that he came because he wants to be the king, but Ram wants him to be the king. So he's ready to do what Ram wants. He's not interested in the material opulence that Ravana had and grabbing it and owning it and enjoying it, and that's not his interest. His interest is just one thing, the same thing after those 10,000 years of austerity. Let the Lord be exclusively my place of shelter and never deviate from the standard of righteousness. He's that kind of a personality. Almost over. Then came how to get all the Vanaras over to Lanka. So he asked Vibhishana how to cross to the ocean. And of course, he doesn't need to ask Vibhishana anything. He's giving Vibhishana some service. And Vibhishana suggested, take help from Samudra. That's meant to show the ocean god. Greek mythology, ocean god. And so, according to the Bhagavatam, 9th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, he fasted for 3 days, waiting for the ocean to come, ocean personified. And the ocean personified didn't come. We all know this history. And the commentary in this section of the Bhagavatam is Samudra wouldn't come because Ram was undergoing austerity for him and he doesn't want to take the superior position. And so Ram took the superior position. And of course there's different versions. Some say he shot an arrow. Some versions of Ramayana, just by his glance, his angry glance, the ocean started to boil. All the fish were boiling. And Samudra emerged from the sea with folded palms, asking some service. What can I do? So that's the end of this topic of Vibhishana's Sharanagati. And there's many, many other things that happened and one could say, but time doesn't permit. Another visit, another time. Or you just read Ramayana and enjoy. Because there's so much. It's revealing that Ramayana, according to Govinda Raja, just like we hear that the Bhagavatam personified is the different features, the 2 lotus feet of the Lord of the first 2 cantos and so forth. Similarly, Govindaraj says the same thing about the different divisions of Ramayana, starting at his feet and so forth and so on. So, by associating with Ramayana, you're associating with the Supreme Lord through sound. And there are many different versions of Ramayana, and the gold standard version of Ramayana is Valmiki Ramayana. Somebody may like this one. I know some people that grew up in this part of India and they like this one, and somebody likes that one, and somebody likes the other one, which is just fine. And there's differences in their versions, and that's just fine too. But Valmiki Ramayana is the best. The gold standard, let's say that. So most of what I presented here is from that source, with a little of the other sprinkled in. Now, this is personal. I grew up in the Hare Krishna movement not knowing very much about Ramachandra. I grew up in the Hare Krishna movement, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, then Nectar Devotion, and those 3 books. Other Ishopanishad and so forth. But I didn't know so much about Ramachandra. But every year we were celebrating Ram Navami. So it kind of, slowly, learning a little bit more. And then some of the devotees that I have close relationships with, Ramayana is their number 1 meditation. And they know Ramayana like the back of their hand. Details and details and details. So when details arise, I just ask them. One of the yatras that we conducted, just like you heard at the beginning, we're going to Badrinath. I've never been to Badrinath. I don't know if any of you have been. I've never been. So one year we went to Ayodhya. And then after Ayodhya we went to Chitrakoot. And after Chitrakoot, we went to other places that Ramchandra's pastimes took place. And I had to learn because I'm taking a group of several hundred devotees to a place that I've never been. So with that immersion, it helped develop some feelings for Ramayana and the lessons of Ramayana, because that was the theme of this visit here in Phoenix, is lessons. And there's so many, 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 many. embedded within the story many, many lessons. And our great acharyas, that's one of their gifts, is they just reveal the lessons in the context of the story. So it's really nice. And those of you that didn't hear all the classes, they're recorded. You can go back and hear the ones that you didn't get to hear. It's refreshing. Any discussion? All the way in the back. I saw that hand first. All the way in the back. Thank you for being very patient and somehow sitting through all of this. Yes.
Thank you, Maharaj, for the wonderful class and beautiful pictures. I was trying to compare the right decision made by Vibhishana to take shelter of Shri Ram versus the wrong decision made by Karna in Mahabharata to not take the side of virtue despite the recommendation coming from Krishna. And also, I mean, Karna's wrong decision is much more popular and glorified as opposed to Vibhishana's right decision. Is it because externally, is it a weak decision made by Vibhishan versus Karna's strong decision, or was it because Vibhishan had full faith and realization that Sri Ram is the Supreme Personality of Godhead versus Karna did not have full faith that Krishna was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, due to which he made a decision based on his intelligence despite Krishna's recommendation?
Well, there's multiple reasons. You know, one of the biggest reasons was Leela is being conducted by Leela Shakti. And it's not like if you're involved in Leelas with the Supreme Lord, you're just a pawn on the chessboard and you just move the way that the chessboard moves you. At the same time, you know, where does intelligence come from? For example, where does Karna's intelligence come from? Where does Vibhishan? It comes from Supersoul. And if Supersoul wants to teach this or teach that through the Leela, that's what you do. So Karna had a role to play. Now there's stuff in the background about the why, but you know, predominating even over the why is the Leela. I give a nice example that's from Ramayana. It's at the very, very beginning, about 100 verses into Ramayana. Valmiki goes to the Tamasa river after hearing the 74 verses by Narada that summarize the whole of the Ramayana, and he has an instruction. 2, meditate on what you heard. 2, write the entire life of Ramchandra, who I've just described. So he does for one muhurta, then he goes to the Tamasa river, and then he sees what he saw. And he says what he says, which is the essence of the whole Ramayana in one verse. It's another type of verse besides the Charama Sloka. So Brahma comes, he's like bewildered. How did I speak this awful thing? Cursing someone like this. Brahma came and told him, it is I who arranged that Saraswati, the goddess of learning, would speak this verse through you. Then he explained the meaning of the verse that he spoke. And through this verse, and meditating on this verse that just came out of your mouth in certain anushtup meter, that the whole of the Ramayana will reveal to you. I benedict you. So it was, you'll understand the whole Mula Ramayana, 1 billion verses, things that people, yet Brahma went on. Things that you've never seen, and you've never heard, people's thoughts, people's feelings, people's emotions, all that will be revealed to you. So now, he's a pawn on Lord Brahma's chessboard. Or, you know, he's being inspired from within to say what he said and then to write about what he wrote. But it's an act of devotion. Now we'll go back to your question. Karna wasn't in a mood of devotion. And there's a reason why Karna wasn't in a mood of devotion. There's a history, and there's also the Leela. Without the history, he was feeling what he was feeling. Although he was such an exalted, the son of the sun god, so with good character and good, but he was cast away and raised and treated the way that he was treated because who he was raised by. And so he had a chip on his shoulder. And those that were honored, although they were literally his brothers, he had enmity towards them. Anyway, there's circumstances. He fell prey to bad association. The Duryodhana was the bad association. And he found a friend in Duryodhana, and he became corrupted by bad association. And there's a lesson within Mahabharata about the lesson of being corrupted by bad association. Even an elevated person can be corrupted by bad association. The same lesson is in Ramayana. So Vibhishana didn't become corrupted by bad association because he was protected by bhakti. And Karna didn't have that. So he fell susceptible to bad association. And that's a lesson within Mahabharata. And so there's multiple others. One could, write an essay on what are the reasons why Karna did what Karna did and felt what he felt. But those are some of the reasons. And Vibhishana was protected. Although there was risk, he was protected. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for sharing Lord Ramchandra's words about how Sharanagati, how he is so bound to the devotees. So the question is that whenever there are difficulties in a devotee's life, we always say that we should take shelter of the Lord. And in this case, like Vibhishana is taking shelter of the Lord. So how we expect from our sense of material conditioning that this is how the shelter should be?
Yeah, the protection should look like this. Not like that. That's not protection. This is protection. The Lord's messed up. I write the script, not him. And protection looked like this. So why is he not doing what he's supposed to do? That's our contamination.
So then how should we view it? Like whatever we are going through, is that what is the protection?
Who's they?
The devotees.
The devotees. Whatever the devotee. So it depends on the devotee and the circumstance of what they're going through. But the principle of devotion is you never depart from shelter. Na sochati, na kangsati, samaksarveshu bhuteshu, even people that insult you, or treat you harshly, or do bad stuff. You can be discriminating between what's what, but you don't judge and cast disparaging thoughts or feelings. Unless you want to get sucked into the material energy, and that if you want that, it's easy to do that. But protection is there when bhakti is what you take shelter of. That's what to do, why and what to do. If you leave that shelter, you're tossed around by the waves of the river. No shelter.
Just sharing that the qualities. Just sharing that the quality of Saralata that was demonstrated. I was thinking that even Srila Prabhupada demonstrated the same.
Oh yeah.
No qualification, nothing, and then gave shelter to so many devotees. So just
He gradually tightened the screw. But he did ever so gently. And, knowing who could take the screw being tightened and who couldn't. Did you happen to watch that 1 hour plus recording of Devi Shakti speaking about the beginnings of ISKCON Vrindavan?
I just forwarded it. Didn't get a chance to watch
Huh? Yeah, not yet.
Not yet.
So, if that can be circulated to our congregation, you'll love it. And one of the things she describes is the person who became Srila Prabhupada's main architect for the Krishna Balaram temple was a devotee that didn't know anything about architecture. He just was a surrendered soul. And Prabhupada wanted very much, and he knew, of course, the inner strength of Saurabh, who became the architect, who knew nothing about architecture. And he was very demanding. And Saurabh performed. He didn't resent it. He understood the mercy that he was receiving. So Prabhupada would do that sometimes. Not just because he was, macho or, just, condescending or something. He knew that the capacity of someone, and in the course of this discussion, Devi Shakti Mataji is describing, he understood it. So when Prabhupada was really heavy with him, he understood the affection that the mercy and the affection both. He didn't get put off. Now, and the temple was built. And, a magnificent temple. And just with much difficulty, listen to the recording, much difficulty. So, mercy. I see a hand way in the back. Can you come forward? Because it's a little easier that way.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
We heard about how Lord Ram, even if someone in their mind, even once, even if it's Ravana, if they surrender and they make that gesture, even in the mind, but once, then he accepts them and is so ingratiated towards that the soul. It's extraordinary what we heard. And one may doubt, or a potential doubt in the mind of a practicing devotee even, is that what qualifies such a authentic or genuine surrendering of oneself?
That's a very good question. Excellent question. Let me just share two things. One, this little section that I read from split the followers of Ramanujacharya. Some read it this way, some read it that way. And the issue is, what does it mean to say sincerely even once? Because some would say, 15 years ago I surrendered. That's it. And others would say, excuse me, but surrender means ongoing. It's not a one-time deal. And it was such a philosophical schism that two different groups, still followers of Ramanujacharya, they have this name and they have that name. Sometimes it's called the Northern Division, Southern Division, but it split the Sampradaya on that particular question that you just asked. So it's a very important question. What does it mean? So implicit, my understanding is, I'm not part of this group or that group. My understanding is, Mam Ekam Sharanam is not a one-time deal. Even if you do it one time sincerely, sincerely means perpetually. The surrender and submission is perpetual. not something you give and take back. And I say this on the authority of the words of the writings of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He speaks of submission slackening. And when submission slackens, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his Madhurya Kandamati says the same thing. Then prior tendencies start to come out. Called in Sanskrit vasanas. A tendency to fill in the blank. A tendency to get angry, a tendency to be lusty, a tendency for something. Greedy, a tendency to become, indulgent in sinful activity. Tendency. One is bhakti will protect. That surrender is at the heart of what bhakti is. It's not just an activity. It is an activity, but it's not just an activity. It's a submission. That's sharanagati. So what is it? Which is your question. It's an essence that's from the heart platform, and therefore it's ongoing by its nature, because it's from the heart platform. It's not a one-time deal. Squeaky wheels, huh? Whoever is the maintenance person, maybe you can find some oil and put it on the squeaky wheels. It's not difficult to do. Can you do that? Find some oil and figure out a way to make it not squeak for next week. Thanks. So my answer is it's from the heart level that doesn't come and go. Naturally, in the Madhurya Kandamati, there's the sine curve. Sometimes and sometimes. Sometimes and sometimes. That's unsteady, anishtata bhakti. But it's a barometer of surrender and faith. And as faith and surrender become more pure and more matured, then it becomes steady. Even before anarthas are completely eradicated, it still becomes steady. And the obstacle is anarthas. Is that all right?
Yeah, I was thinking...
I'm waiting for the but.
No, I really appreciate the answer about what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says about it's
Yes.
not something you take back, so it's not just a one-time thing, and you can change that. But just as a follow-up question, it seems like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Madhurya Kandamati kind of poses it as a gradation from Shraddha to Prema.
Yes.
Is that how we are kind of looking at it?
Yes. But, this is the but, it's still one thing. It's just like, here's a question to respond to what you're saying. A multiple choice question. A tulsi is a tulsi seed. That's A. Tulsi is when tulsi sprouts and two little leaves come out of the soil. That's a tulsi. C. Tulsi is when a fully matured plant. That's C. Tulsi is when there's manjaris, and tulsi is when there's more seeds, or all of the above.
D.
So they're all tulsis, and they're all worshipable. Just different stages of unfolding.
Great, thank you so much.
I think we should end, unless somebody's going to be unhappy with me for ending. So we can end. Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Ramachandra ki, Gaur Premanandi.
Romapada Swami Maharaj ki.
Hare Krishna. Big round of applause for wonderful class. We have a few announcements. We need some space. There's a lot of space. If you can just move forward a little bit, just for a few minutes, and then be easy to stand up for the blessings also. Any newcomers here today? Any first-timers? There. Hare Krishna, welcome. Juan, it's so nice to see you. Hare Krishna. We have a small gift for you, so after the announcements, please come and see me. I hope you'll keep coming again and again. Very nice. Anyone else? Yes. Hare Krishna. Welcome. Have you moved to Phoenix? You're visiting here? You're visiting? Mm-hmm. Where are you from? Hungary. Oh, nice. Welcome. Okay. All the way from Europe. Very nice. Welcome to ISKCON of Phoenix. We have a small gift for you after the announcements. Please come and see me. Anyone else? Hare Krishna, Prabhu. You are new here?
Yeah, visiting Michigan.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh. Okay. Hare Krishna. Suresh. Right. Nice. Yes, Suresh Bhai, we can see Namapriya after the announcements. She'll put you in touch with some of our regular programs, and you'll be able to meet people, like-minded people, and we have several functions and get-togethers that we have, so we'll be happy to show you around. Anyone else? Hare Krishna, welcome. Are you visiting or you're moving to Phoenix? Oh, move to Phoenix. Welcome, welcome to Phoenix. Are you local, Chandler or other? Tempe. Oh, not far. I hope you keep coming again. Wonderful. Welcome. What's your name? Madhu. Madhu Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you for visiting ISKCON of Phoenix. Hare Krishna. Anyone else? So we'd like to thank today's feast sponsors. We have 2 birthdays. So we have the Siha family and the Porta family. We'd like the Siha family. Sagar's birthday was a couple of days ago, I believe. Today. Oh, exact day. Wow. Please come. The whole family can come and receive Mahaprasad. Happy birthday to Sagar. Where's your mom? There you are. Happy birthday. Did you do anything fun today? Gardening. Wonderful. I've given your dad this. Vibhishana. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji. Sagar, keep coming. Like you do. Keep coming. Hare Krishna. Next is the Porta family. We have Leelavati Devidasi celebrating her birthday today. Hare Krishna. Many happy returns. Trivikrama Prabhu and Divya and where's Dhanush? You all can come up today. Mom's birthday. I hope you spoiled her. Where's Dhanush? Hiding. We'll catch up with him later. Happy birthday, Mata. Hare Krishna. So Leelavati Mataji has just recently taken over our CPO volunteer status. She's the leader. And the Vaishnavi group. Yes, so thank you so much for taking care of our Vaishnavis. Hare Krishna. The whole family actually is very dedicated and very good role models for the congregation. Mataji, she works full-time, she has 2 children, and she always has something going on. She's always here to help, and you'll never see her complaining. Always a big smile and always service with a smile. Thank you, Mataji, for all your service. And Trivikrama Prabhu, what to say, speak of him. He's so humble. And whenever you just have to pick up the phone and he say, I'll be there. Doesn't matter how busy he is, what time of the day it is, but Trivikrama Prabhu is always here. And Divya, she's our star actor at our Vedic Ensemble Theatre. So thank you, Divya, for all your seva that you've been doing through the years. Really appreciated. And Dhanush chanted 64 rounds last retreat. And he also grew up here. I saw him in Mataji's lap growing up here, sitting at the back for so many years. And he loves coming to the temple. A couple of years ago, he would tell Trivikrama Prabhu, I have to go to Mangala Arati. He would cry if Prabhu didn't bring him to Mangala Arati. So we've seen him grow as well, and I'm really happy. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. Please give them a big round of applause with their family. Next Sunday, our guest speaker is going to be we have two speakers next Sunday, Dwarkadesh Prabhu and Vishakha Devi Dasi. They're going to be coming from Mumbai, and they are here for 2 days. So we'll have Sunday feast program here, and then there's going to be a program on Monday. More details will be posted on our various groups, so please stay tuned. And our regular programs continue. Please visit our Facebook page or our web page for daily chanting. We start our day with group chanting. Now it's not by teleconference call. Recently we've changed to Zoom, and it's also on YouTube, so it's very convenient for you. And our timings have changed a little bit also. So we are reading about how to improve our chanting from 5 to 5:20, and then we are chanting for 20 minutes, group chanting, and then we read from Srimad Bhagavatam for 20 minutes. So it's a 1 hour program, but it's really a wonderful way of starting the day. And as I said, if you cannot join on time, the recordings will be sitting there for you, and just connect with them. They're really wonderful classes. They're given by your peers here, and there's so much learning. This morning's class was wonderful. It was about how to improve our chanting, and about we are reading from the Shikshashtakam prayers from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Really wonderful. So please join us in the mornings if you can. Then we have our daily Srimad Bhagavatam classes online and in person at the temple from 7:35 to 8:15. And then the Vaishnavis also read Srimad Bhagavatam via Zoom from 4:30 to 5:15 Monday through Friday. So we place a lot of emphasis on Srimad Bhagavatam. And then our youth also are reading Srimad Bhagavatam on Sundays between 2 and 3, and that also is via Zoom. So a lot of opportunities there. And we have yoga classes. We've added a weekday class also now. We have them on Saturday mornings from 8:30 to 9:30, and Wednesdays from 7 to 8. So please join us if you can. They're for beginners, intermediates, and advanced people. So, and then our Sunday school and Hindi classes continue. However, we just have a month left now, and then we'll be restarting again in August. We have puja services and catering services available at the temple. And I don't think we have any other functions coming up in the near future. We have Narsimha Chaturdashi next month, so we'll be posting details about that as time comes closer. We'll recite the prasadam prayers, and then you form one line for the blessings, and the children and the seniors will be taking prasadam first, and then the rest of us can join the line. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Oh, and we have summer camp coming up first week of June. So we've had a few calls about summer camp. So first week of June, if you need more details, you can see Namapriya Mataji today, or the details will be posted on your groups. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Swarpa Punyamatam Rajan Vishwaya Suni Vajayate Sharira Vidya Jai Jodendriya Taikar Jive Fele Vishaya Sagare Taramati Jivati Lobo Maya Sudurmati Taki Jita Sansare Krishna Varodayamai Karivar Jiva Jai Swaprasadana Dilobhai Sayana Mritapah Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gunagao Vivada Ko Shri Chaitanya Nitai Jai Nimai Jai Nitai Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare श्री भगवत महाप्रसादम की
एकदम एंड में बैठो, इधर भीड़ हो जाएगा, उधर एंड में बैठो। माता जी
Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Gopijana Vallabha, Jaya Girivar Dhari, Jaya Girivar Dhari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yamuna Tiruvanachari, Jaya Yamuna Tiruvanachari, Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana, Yamuna Tiruvanachari, Jaya Yamuna Tiruvanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare
Thank you very much.